Hello everybody and welcome. In today's video, we're going to talk about dealing with a struggling team in Football Manager. And let's get started with an overview. In my opinion, turning around a struggling team is the hardest thing to do in Football Manager. There are so many things working against you, and it can be an incredibly frustrating experience to try and stop a losing streak. But we'll go over a few ideas to try and turn it around. So to begin, when you go on a losing streak, the first thing you need to do is start improving morale. We can do that by having interactions with our players. This includes praising and criticizing individual training, criticizing recent player form, and having a team meeting. Next, don't be afraid to change your tactics. We'll look at an actual example here in a bit, but a good starting point for change is to become more defensive with your formation. So changing from something like a 4-4-2 to a 4-1-4-1. And finally, look at your schedule. See if you're actually just having a poor run of games. If your team is a relegation candidate, your squad could have just hit a rough patch in the schedule. This is very common in the English Premier League. Okay, now that we've got some ideas, let's head to the next section and check out our club. We're heading back to Sparta Rotterdam and picking up with our save. And as you can see from these results, we've hit a rough patch after a good start to the season. Losing 4 in a row, we're in real danger of becoming a relegation candidate. And I think we're close to turning it around because we've had some bad luck with our schedule. We've had 4 losses, sure, but looking closer, these results aren't actually unexpected. Excelsior are second in the table, so they're in good form. And of course, AZ and PSV are always going to be tough. So we've lost 4 in a row, but I know some easier matches are ahead of us. So what I need to do is limit the damage and keep morale up. We had a team meeting and I told them basically that, to keep their heads up. There's also some easy player interactions that we can have to help boost morale too. Have a discussion with your players who are in poor form. Anything below 6.5 is a good starting point. So our center back Diaby has a recent form of 6.4. So I tell him this top answer: keep working hard to improve. Likewise, though it may be rare on a struggling team, if you have a player doing well, congratulate them. You can also criticize and praise weekly training results because each week you get this message in your inbox. You praise anybody over 8 and again criticize anyone under 6.5. Now the real truth is that the only way to actually improve morale in a substantial way is by winning matches. What we're trying to do with these tips and tricks is soften the blow of losing. So in the next section, let's change the biggest thing that can fix your losing streak: your tactics. With these results, we've got the annoying combination of giving up a lot of goals and not really scoring any goals. So something has to change with our tactics. Don't be afraid to change your tactics on a losing streak. Evaluate your player roles in your formation and see what's not working. You can always go back to previous matches and look at the goals you've conceded to see if there's any issues you can fix. If you remember, our first Sparta tactic was this 4-2-3-1. It's the one where we beat Ajax, but after that, obviously it's been a disaster. Our midfield has not been performing well, even though it's a strength of our team. It has something to do with our 2 defensive midfielders here, and the roles I've chosen. And you may have already noticed the problem. We actually don't have anyone holding their position. We have 2 roles that want to close down the ball, and it's been a major issue with our tactic. Here's an example of a goal we conceded to AZ. They're on the ball in their defensive midfield. This is our ball-winning midfielder, and this is the roaming playmaker. When the play starts, watch how the roaming playmaker goes out wide to close down the ball. And the ball-winning midfielder, even on the defend duty, doesn't hold his position either. This makes it easy for the opponent to find an unmarked man in front of the box. Another example, but the same idea. The opponent is attacking down the left flank. This clip will be a little longer, but just watch our 2 defensive midfielders and how the hyper-aggressive nature of these player roles leaves our midfield exposed. Okay, we've identified a major issue in our tactic, the lack of a holding midfield role. An easy way to fix this is simply change the formation. Instead of a 4-2-3-1, we've now gone to a 4-3-3. I've chosen the halfback as our holding defensive midfield role. The role also gives us a back three in possession, which is why I chose it over something like an anchor. These changes also allows me to still use more creative roles like the roaming playmaker. But now we have a more stable midfield just by switching the formation and changing some player roles. This is a pretty boring play that I cherry picked, but it's a good look at the halfback. The opponent is on the ball in their own half. Watching the play, keep an eye on the halfback. Closes down if needed, but isn't as aggressive as the other defensive midfield roles we looked at. Granted, he turns the ball over, but I like the stability the role gives in defense. And of course, I love the halfback in possession because of that back three. Really helps you keep the ball. And keeping the ball is another element to helping out your defending. In the next two matches, we were able to get results in a tough away match and then a shutout win at home. And with these away matches, don't underestimate the ability to get points. When trying to avoid relegation, every single point helps. As we wrap up, if you'd like some player role shirts or maybe a digital FM planner, you can check out the Half Space Apparel online store. I've also got a Patreon account if you'd like to support the channel. Anyway, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.